Well, hi my friends. This is Jay, and this is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. Wishing you a happy 2021. Everyone, everywhere. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I probably could have maybe got this video done last week, but I don't know. I just, sometimes you just need to take a few days off. And I enjoy it just taking a nap here and there. Well, how are you? We are doing well. The weather's just perfect here. Not cold, not hot. A little rainy sometimes, but that's good too. Well, I guess you say, Jay, what are we up to? I gave you a preview of my last video and of the year of sweaters. We're just going to be working a lot of sweaters and sewing scarves. Accent scarves to match. Just showing you how to put things together. But I'm going to throw some little other things. Of course, I have to throw a few other things in between. You can't do a sweater. It takes a while to do a sweater. So this is what I thought I'd start the year with. just like that classical music. A little on the vintage side or old school. Well, I thought I would share with you my old school. When we were young, we used to wear what we called back then pom-pom scarves. I don't know if they call them that now. I don't know. I just know, I'm from what I'm talking about back then in my high school days. I'm always going back to like my, middle school and high school days or early high school days. And so that would be in the late 60s. Middle 60s, late 60s. So that's the time we're talking about. So I want to show you a quick way to make some and to have fun. And as you can see from the pictures, they're quite stylish. They can be dressed up or they can be dressed down. But now the first thing before we even get started, I'm going to give a warning out for those that may, they're real cute and they're mainly maybe for more of a younger generation. I'm just going to show you how to do them. But now listen, this is not for little children. This has a cord on it, and this could be dangerous. This could be something that could choke or could hurt or render a child, could get hurt or unconscious or anything, or put it around their neck. So this is not for the small, if you have little small children. This is more for your, older children or young people or just, like you say, I wear them. I think they're cute. But I wanted to give that warning right up front. So be very aware that that we're going to make, I'm going to show you how to make the cord and everything, could be very dangerous to a small child or a baby. Does that make sense? Okay. Well, first of all, let's see what we have. Well, let's go with the one I was wearing. I think this is the one I was wearing. All right, so here's the one I was wearing on the last video. I just grabbed it up and put it on. I wasn't even thinking about, Jay, that would be great. Pom Pom, hey Bird, let's say Happy New Year to Bird. Get Bird in the picture. All right, let's make sure I'm on camera, that I'm good. Yes. All right. So now here's the one that I was wearing. This is my faux mink ball. Not meatball, mink. And I just picked up some of this, faux mink over at, I believe this one came from Hobby Lobby, but I did some more. I got some more that we're going to work on. I picked up at Joann's when I was in there. And then you just simply put it on a cord. Just like that. And voila. You can put it around your neck. You can put a bow. A lot of times I used to wear it with a bow. You could wrap it around your neck if you make your cord. Of course, you have to make your cord long enough to kind of wear it in different ways. But there it is with a pretty bow, just like that. And that's the faux mink. Now here's another one in some faux fur. Make sure I've got my camera in a different position, so I want to make sure that I can see it. Yep. So here's some I found at Joann's. So I've got some of this ready for us so I can demonstrate. And here's your long cord. This is a knitted I-cord, which is what I'm going to share. I've done it before, but we're going to go over it again in this project and show you. So you can see you make the cord as long as you think you might like to wear it, whether you want to tie it or wear it around your neck. You can take the loop and then come around your neck and then put the two, put the two balls through the loop. It's just hard to get undone unless you go to the mirror when you get ready to take it off. I did mine that way, and Lord, I thought I was going to have to cut the cord. I couldn't remember how to get the ball out of it. So that's another reason why you be real careful with a small child. I'm not making this for a very small child. All right, let's see. Well, of course, we have to have yarn. We have yarn, duh. We have yarn, so you have to make some with our fuzzy pom-poms, right? So everybody's in the pom-pom craze, and everybody's got the pom-pom maker. I finally broke down and went and bought a pom-pom maker. I used to just make them off of a card or something, but I said, well, let me just see if I wanted to be a lot fluffier. So I watched some of you, and it just seems a lot fluffy if you just do it from the pom-pom. So I said, okay, I'll just go buy. I got a coupon. I had a coupon in Joann's. So this is just scrap yarn. Scrap yarn. All of these are made from. Let's look at the last one right here. Look at that. This is just, I would call this yarn that I wouldn't use for my sweaters. Maybe it's just old yarn. I think this is some Impeccable or something. But it will make great accessories, like Jay's pom-pom scarf. I think on the video I called it a tie. And when I remembered the music from Beethoven, Number 5 Symphony, bum 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 bum. I thought that's it. Pom 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 pom. Jay's pom pom. Accent scarf or ties. So what do you think of that? All right, now here's, like I said, these are the samples. Let me show you the supplies that you will need, and we are going to get started. So, bum 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 bum. Back in just a minute. All right, so here's what you need just to get started. Don't need much. It's a stash busting project. I looked in my stash, and like I said, I have a lot of old Michael's Impeccable yarn that I don't really use anymore that much. And so I found just a skein of it. I'm using number 4 weight. You can use something smaller, but just kind of flow with me on this number 4, and then I'll show you something. I'll show you some other ones a little later. But this is just regular number 4 weight scrap yarn. Does that make sense? And then I have 2 double pointed needles. Now, these just happen to be the short ones. Most double points are longer, so whichever ones you have is fine. But hopefully you have either a number 8 or number 9. These are number 10s, and it just makes knitting the I-cord go a lot faster. So if you have a number 10, that's even better. Most seasoned knitters have, different sizes in your double pointed needles. But if all you have is a 9, that'll work just fine. So you only need 2 for this project. All right, so now let's get started. I'm thinking of anything else that I need. Nope, we're just going to get started with the I-cord. I've demonstrated before, but I'm going to demonstrate again. All right, to make this I-cord, let me show you what we're going to end up with. We're going to end up with a cord like this with 2 long tails. See that? I'll just pass it along. See, it's a cord just like that. And it's going to have 2 long tails that we will attach. I'm going to show you how to attach the pom-poms when we're done. So you just have to just put this around your neck. You'll just keep working on it once we get started, and then you can just keep putting it around your neck to get it the length you want. You know, taller people are going to need one longer. I'm short, so mine sometimes is not as long. So let's get started. All right, I'm going to put my yarn down here on the floor so I can just hopefully don't get it tangled up. All right, let's see. I don't want to get that tangled. There we go. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to make a small, leave a nice long tail, maybe, 7, 8, 9 inches, about like this, just a long tail. And then just make your knot. I just make a knot, people. Don't get tied up with with the word slip knot. Just make a knot. You just make a loop around your finger, poke it through. Voila, you got a knot, people. We're going to start out by knitting or casting on 3 stitches. This is the first stitch, stitch number 1. And let me see how close I am. See if this is good for the camera or not. I think I'm fine. Alright, so here's the first. Make sure I'm a thrower and I'm right-handed. So I'm going to put my needle in, and here is the tail over here. This is where I'm going to cast on the stitches from. This is from the ball of the working yarn, this side. Does that make sense? If you're left-handed, you'll just be different, I guess the opposite. All I want to do is cast on 3 stitches. Everyone, everywhere, will start with 3 stitches for this number 4 weight yarn. So this is 1, long tail cast on 2, and 3. Don't make it harder than what it is. It's just 3 stitches. Here's the tail. Here's the working yarn. Okay. Now, for an I-cord, the yarn is always in the back of the needle, and you simply we're going to knit and then pull and slide. I'm right-handed, so I work from this end, so I'm going to slide my yarn to this end. There's no turning when I'm working with the I-cord. As in knitting, we turn, we work a row and then we turn. No, everything is done facing you, so I slide it up to that point. Just like that. I pick up the second needle. Yarn is in the back, always in the back, and I simply knit these 3 stitches. Just knit, just like this. 1, that's 2, and that's 3. Pull, just tug on it. That helps to turn. We're making a cord, and it turns in. It turns in on itself. I think that's what I want to say. So pull. Everybody, if you like I say, if you're a knitter, you know how to do an I-cord. But those that are new, so now stick the needle in again, and I knit the next row. 2 and 3. So that's 2 rows. We're going to knit 5. I'm going to knit 5 rows, and I'll tell you why in just a minute to make it simple. So then I grab up the needle again, the empty needle, and I knit 1, 2, and 3. Stop, really take time, and pull, and then slide it up. Just slide it up to that point if you're right-handed. Left-handers, I guess you'll be going that direction. But the yarn is in the back. Right now, it'll take a while for it to pull in on itself, but it'll be just fine. All right, that was I think that was number 4, row 4. So I'm just going to knit 1, 2, and 3. And let's see if I've got 1, 2, 3. I'm going to knit 1 more. I think I need to knit 1 more. If you get off, it doesn't matter. You just want this little tail. You're going to see what we're going to do. We're going to increase this. I was talking. All right, so we'll start off with 3 stitches, and we're going to knit 5 rows. Pull and slide 5 times. Now I want to increase these 3 stitches into 5 stitches to make the card a little wider. that's going to go around your neck so it'll stand out and look really nice. So what I want you to do is in this first stitch, stitch number 1, we're going to knit into the front and knit into the back of that same stitch. We've done that before. Everyone knows how to do it. So I've increased 1 stitch. Then the center stitch, one right in the middle, I'm simply going to knit. And then the last stitch, I'm going to increase in again. Knit into the front, pivot, and knit into the back of that stitch. Just like that. Pull, take your time, and really give a good tug on it. Straighten them out. Now, slide. Just slide it up to the next point. Right there. Alright, so now all we're going to do is start knitting this to the length that we need to go around our neck and hang down in the front. So now I'm knitting 5 stitches. Everyone, everywhere should have 5 stitches. Just like this. Pull and slide. Just slide it up to the point. Needle in, knit the 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull. It was rainy today, so believe it or not, get some yarn, it was a little humid. I'm thinking, okay, what kind of crazy weather is this? This is January. But now you see it pulling in, and when you turn on over on the back side, it'll be a little messy at first, but then once once you do some more rows and you just keep going, knit 1, 2, 4, and it goes fast. Now I'm trying to go slow for people that are new, you know. Pull and slide. Slide it to that end, take the empty needle, go in to knit. Knit 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull. The back is starting to pull in now. Pull and slide. The more you tug on it and pull it, the neater it's going to look on the back. Empty needle in. Make sure the yarn is always coming from the back. Okay. Now, just FYI, sometimes you pull or you take out the wrong needle. And you go, oh, Jay, what did I do? Oh, I take out the wrong needle. Okay. Don't panic. Turn the work to the back. Find the yarn. Don't pull anything though. Find the yarn, and you can see this is the stitch right there that the yarn is connected to. So you grab a needle right quick, pick up that loop, take your time, pick up the next loop, kind of rotate it. You see how I'm rotating it around? Pick up that loop, pick up this one, and then finally grab that last loop. Doesn't matter how bad or if it doesn't look great, just grab them. Make sure, count again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you have your loops and that the yarn is in the back. Does that make sense? Because sometimes you do. Even us seasoned knitters, sometimes we yank out the wrong needle and go, oh, mercy. You know, you're watching television or a movie or something, and you and you pull out the wrong one. But don't panic. All right, so I'll do this and then we're going to stop. This is just sharing with you how to do this simple I-cord. And the more you tug on it, the better the back will take shape. And you start having that. Does that make sense? All right, now let me just pull this one back over so I can show it to you. Of course, this is what you're going to have, just like I shared with you a minute ago. This is the completed I-cord. You can see how you have the narrow end where we started with 3 stitches, we increased to 5, and just continue to knit, knit, and pull, knit, pull, and slide, knit, pull, and slide. knit, pull, and slide. Now here's the back, so you can see how the back pulls in, and if you tug on it really nice, you see how nice and neat it is. It looks almost as smooth as the front. Here's the front of the cord right there. And then I rotate it, and here's the back. All right, so now you're going to work on that to get to the length that you want, and I'll come back, and then I'm going to show you how to cast off, and then make sure that we leave a tail on the opposite end. We started with a 7 or 8 inch tail. We need to leave one on the opposite end. So I'll be back in just a minute. Be sure to take your time, pull and slide. All right, I've worked some on this the sample I-cord off camera. So we'll just pretend that I have it the length that I want, or that you need, you've put it around your neck. And so now you want to get ready to stop it and we're going to work down, and then of course leave a long tail to match the opposite end. So now you remember when we started the I-cord, we only had 3 stitches. So we need to go back down to 3 stitches from the 5, so that we have this nice tapered edge or point, so that we'll have something to attach to our pom-pom. So I've gone as long as I want, so now I'll just do one more row here, just so we're kind of just so you'll see the motion. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 5 stitches. I pull, nice on the back, I pull and slide. Now I want to stop. To get back down to 3, I'm going to knit the first 2 stitches together. Take my extra needle, put it in, I knit 2 stitches together, go up under 2, then I knit the stitch in the middle, that's 2, and then I knit the last 2 stitches together. We're back down to 3, just like that. Really give it a good tug and pull and slide. Yarn is in the back. Now we're going to knit these 3 stitches for at least 5 or 6 rows. Just, you don't have to, if you miss a row like I did or something, it's not that big a deal. So I just knit. So we'll say that's 1. Just knitting those 3 stitches from 5 back down to 3. Just like this. Okay, I'll do one more. I don't know if that was 5 or not. If you miss it, don't, like I said, I'm just giving you something, a point of reference, that's all. 5, 6. Okay, let's bind off. So you need to just take and you knit the first stitch to bind off. Knit 1, now knit the second stitch, reach back and pull that first stitch over and off the needle. You just bound off 1, kind of pull on it, then knit the next stitch, reach back, pull that stitch over and off the needle. Now I have 1 stitch left. I like to just pull up a large loop because I want this long tail. Now I'm going to take my scissors and cut another tail about as long as the other one. You don't really have to measure. You just want a long tail. Then I'll just push it through. I'll pull it through that last loop and pull it up. Cinch it down. Now I have an I-cord with 2 long tails so that I can sew, which I'm going to get ready to share with you, sew the pom-pom on. Alright, now pom-poms, everybody can make pom-poms. I'm not here to make pom-poms. You just do that because I want to get to the fur, the faux fur. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do, because this one is a lot easier and quicker than the faux fur one. So let me just switch real quick and show you how to do the simple yarn I-cord. Here's my little tapered end. Now this yarn was thinner. This was one of those shimmer, and it feels more like a number 3. So if you have thinner yarn, you know where we started with 3 stitches? When we started with 3. On this one, I suggest, let's say it again, slow, if you're working with number 3 yarn. Maybe you just have a yarn you wanted a pom-pom. You wanted to make this, and it was number 3 weight, lighter weight. Start with 5 stitches. 5 stitches. You'd work, do the same thing, and work at least 5, 6 rows, but at least 5 rows. Then you need to increase 2 stitches on each end. So you'd knit a stitch, the next stitch, knit into the front and back. You've added one, knit the center stitch, the next stitch, knit into the front and back, and then knit. So your 5 turns into 7 for this thinner yarn. Does that make sense? That's the only really thing I did different on because it was just a little thinner, and I wanted the, this part that goes around your neck, I wanted to stand out a little more. All right, so now the next thing I need you to do is to grab up, we need a needle that we can pass whatever size yarn you use, whether it's number 4 or number 3. If it has a little bit of a point, that's going to help. Normally we use blunt needles, but if you do have one with the eye that's large enough and it has a little point, ooh, did I stick myself? Oh, mercy. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so go ahead and put the yarn into your needle, and then I'm going to show you how easy it is. Now my heat just kicked on, so I'm going to speak up a little bit. I've already done the first one side so that you can see. So you make your own pom-poms. This was a smaller one, but you can make the larger pom-poms whatever you like, whatever size you want. Alright, now I've taken my needle and I've threaded this side where the yarn is coming, where I bound off, and it's coming off this side. I've made my pom-pom, and I left my little, where you tie it off. I left that so I'd know. I'm calling that the bottom of the pom-pom. We're not really going to use that. We're going to use this, the needle, to attach. But I kind of want to know where the bottom, I'm calling this the bottom. I can hold on to it. See, just like that. Does that make sense? We'll cut those later. But now I've got something to hold on to. Alright, so what I want to do, or what I want you to do also, take your needle and go into what we're calling the bottom. Now be very careful because this may have a point. If your needle has a point, you don't want to just stick yourself like I just did. And run it up through the center of your pom-pom from what we're calling the bottom. Run it up, pull the, you see how it just pulls that right up? Pull it up. Now watch. Then go back, just stick it back through. You're trying to aim for the center of this pom-pom, and wherever you come out, no matter where, every time you bring this needle back to this side, you want to go through the I-cord somewhere. So you've got to just make sure that needle goes somewhere through the I-cord to make sure that it's attached. So then I pull, and I pull it nice and tight. Don't break your yarn, but pull it tight. Now I'm going back. I just turn it little by little, but make sure I take the needle back through the I-cord. See, I'm just sticking it right back in the I-cord, and I go to this end. Push your needle all the way through till you can feel it or see it. There it is, right there. Came out. Just be careful because this, I'm using one with a point. Alright, and then go back through. Don't worry about it. The pom-pom will fluff back up. Right now we're just trying to go through, and every time I go through, I want to go through and hit that I-cord. Every time I pass this needle back and forth, up and down, I want to make sure that I go through the I-cord somewhere. Just put it on there. It doesn't have to be pretty because it's going to be, just stick it back through the I-cord and back under back through the ball, through the pom-pom. Pull it. Okay, I'm going to do this last time just so I can get to the end. I don't want my camera to pop off. See, I came through the I cord every time I take that needle through. To make sure it's still filming. Yeah, okay. I thought I heard it click off. I thought, oh no, I got to start all over. Boy, I'm not used to using needles with points on them. So be real careful. Ooh. Now watch. If you have enough, you should have enough. Now watch. I've gone through several times. You may do it several times. That's why we need a long tail. Then I pull it nice and tight so that my I cord is in that pom-pom. Then I go around this I cord real tight, maybe 4 or 5 times. See how I'm wrapping that yarn around tight? Just wrap it around. This is where I can work. Now I'm simply going, see, all this is by feel. I know you really can't see this, but this is all by feel because you got all this pom-pom. But you go around, wrap it real tight, pull it, and now you have something to weave in and knot. You go through what you just wrapped around, pull it. Don't worry about it. The pom-pom is going to fluff back up. We'll fluff it back up, especially if you made a large one. I didn't make such a large one on this one. You keep going around, and then you give it that last tug, and now you can start cutting off all this other, just like you do your pom-pom. And you start cutting and clipping or whatever you need to do to fluff your pom-pom back up. Pull some of that yarn that got caught in the thread. You can just kind of lift it out lightly with your fingers. And then you have your pom-pom attached to your I cord. And you may have to pull out some of your other little strands that got caught up in the needle, in the thread. And there you have, let's see, can I clean up my mess? I'm going to show you. When we do the fur, we got to be a little cleaner. And here is one finished pom-pom neck scarf or pom-pom tie. And of course you do your regular trimming like you normally do. And isn't that cute? Now this would be great, like my sister's her granddaughter is in a dance group, and I think they still meet sometimes. They take precaution, and they still meet so they can practice routines. And maybe wouldn't this be cute to just do if there was 7 or 8 of them in a little dance group or something. I mean, she's middle school. She's not like a little, she would know to be careful because they wear the cute little outfits and the pom-poms and all of that. Wouldn't that be cute in their colors? So that's just a thought. Like I said, I wear them because I just think they're cute. Alright, now I'm going to juice my camera up, and then we're going to get to the one that we came for, the fur. I'm going to show you quickly how to do it, but it's the same I cord. So let me just make sure that I do have this. Let me just look at it again. Let's bring this one. Those are the yarn. I thought I'd do the yarn balls first because you can understand that. Okay, so this part is the same. So whatever fur you have, whatever scrap of fur you have, you find some yarn in your scrap to match. And I'm going to show you what I'm using. I'm going to use this color here. This came from Joann's. I bought like a half a yard. But boy, it's a lot for a half a yard. Alright, so that's what you want to have is some scrap fur, faux fur. You go ahead and make an I cord the length you want and leave the long tail. Just leave the long tail. Does that make sense? And then I will join you back. There you go. I'll join you back in just a minute. Alright, so now we're, not last but least, we are looking at some pretty faux fur or whatever. Now I've got, I didn't get the real long fur. I just got something really kind of short because, you know, the longer it is, the more fluffy and it gets everywhere. First thing I did, I put down a little piece of tissue paper just so that I can keep my background here clean on my counter. All right, so now the next thing we need a few, just a simple, well, a few special tools. All right, you're going to need a marker, a permanent, you know, one of these little Sharpie. Okay, and then of course a pair of scissors, and that same needle that we just worked with the other one that has a little tip on it, because we've got to kind of sew through this backing on the fur. So you need that, and then the last thing, something that's a little special that you may not have, I don't know. We're going to turn it over, and let's see. Oh. Oh, this is my special tool. Okay, so this is my special tool. This is, look, some mixed nuts, lightly salted. Mixed. I just happened to have this when I was snacking, when I was designing this, and I was looking around. You know how you look around there, what can I use? I tried different tops and other things, and then a sauce, it was too large. And then lo and behold, while I was snacking, look, empty. I said, oh, that looks perfect. So I took my can and I went ahead and I drew with the marker. I drew around the bottom of my can and I left some space, and I did it so that I'd have two pom-poms. Okay. All right, I thought I'd just give you a little laugh there. Jay ate the snack. Jay ate part of her equipment. Alright, so let's get on with this. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to just separate these two circles. Now, I don't know if I'm on camera, if I'm not on camera. It's late at night again. This is not a great pair of scissors, but so make sure I'm going to separate these two circles. Let's see if I've got another pair that might just be a little better. Let's try these. All right. Now, see all that little fuzz is coming down on my tissue paper. All right, so now I'm going to cut out this circle, but I don't want to cut on this line. I want to cut about a finger's distance away from the line. So about like that, like 1/4 of an inch or so. So I'm going to come way out here. And let's see, let me just real quick, let me just check and see if I'm on camera. I believe I am. Hope that's not crooked. Okay. So I am going to cut around my circle, and I'm leaving like 1/4 of an inch or a finger, like I said, about that much, about as wide as your finger. It's not, I'm not, you don't have to be that, you know, get out of measuring tape and all that, people. It's just a pom-pom. Okay, so I'm cutting that. There's one. Ooh, look at that. Boy, that stuff is coming off, isn't it? All right, then I go ahead and get the other, and don't forget, start way out from the line that you put, if you got a snack can. Oh, Jay ate the snack. I feel like laughing. This is late at night, you know. Oh, it's only about 11 or so. But one of my favorite commercials. The man comes home. He says, somebody has eaten my Cheetos. And so he brings this light in. Some of you have seen it. It's been on a while. So he brings this light in, and first he asked his wife, she shook her head, and then he asked his son, and he said no, and the little girl said no. They just all like, we don't know what you're talking about. So he turns out the the light. They're all sitting at the table. So he turns out the light in the room, and he has this other light, and it shines on them, and all of them have Cheeto dust. The wife has it all over her blouse, her face, her hand. The little boy has it all over his mouth, his arm. The little girl. The little girl has Cheeto dust all over her face. And then he looks over in the corner. He said, and there was a cat, and the cat had Cheeto dust all on its feet, and you could see the trail where the cat had come into the room. He said, "We got a cat." Oh God! I don't know why I'm telling this story. I'm supposed to be doing it to joke. He said, this is what he said. "When did we get a cat?" The cat had been in the Cheetos too. That was the moral of the story. How it fits in with this Pom Pom, I don't know. Well, because of all this Cheeto, all this fur. That's what made me remind it. So there are my two. Now, if we got somebody new and not been around and they're not used to laughing and having, look, move on. This is the new year and the new Jay. I'm going to be 74 this year, and look, I ain't going to, I ain't putting up with that. I'm not being bothered. I love my friends that come by. I love you. I just enjoy you so much. I do wish we lived like close to each other. Oh, I'd be having a party. If what's cold, we'd be having a party every day. We'd just have a good time. Ask my friends when we knit and everything. We used to have such a good time. All right, Jay, now get back because I need to finish before my camera runs out. All right, so the next thing is we need to sew this around so that we can gather this into our pom-pom ball. And this is the thread. I use some threads because this stuff is so strong, it's not going to come loose or anything. So I'm just going to take some of this I'm going to take a long piece of this thread, and I'd go ahead and double it just to make sure. Where's my needle? So here's that needle. Let me get back over here in front of the camera. And I'm just going to double it and put it through my needle with, let's see, can I get it in here now? Here we go. So I'm going to pull it in here, and I'm going to go ahead and double it just to make sure I can pull this, and then put a nice knot on the end. Go ahead and knot it more than once. Am I on camera? Okay. So you have a nice big knot. Does that make sense? You know how to sew. Don't make me shine the Cheeto light. Okay. Then I get here. Now, I'm not going to get near this line. I'm not sewing near this line or anything. I'm out here near the edge, and all I'm going to do is run like a running stitch all the way around. Push it through. Now, it may be a little, this one may be a little tight with the, I don't think it's going to go through with the double. Let me take the knot out. I think it's too thick. So all I did was just cut the knot, and I'll just use, I believe maybe I just used it like with one strand. It wasn't going through with two. And I didn't feel like hurt my hand. Oh, my friends, I am so glad we're friends. I'm so glad we can just talk. I'm so glad you just let me be me. I just so enjoy your company. I don't know why this one seems to be so tough. Okay, here we go. So I'm pulling it through. So I guess I just did one strand. But don't forget, I forgot to put the knot back in. I may have to just edit and take all of this out. And y'all wouldn't get to hear my joke. Oh. Alright, so here we go. So now I've got my knotty and I only have one string. You didn't have to double it. I guess I thought I doubled it, but it wouldn't go through. It was too thick. But this is thread, so it is very strong. So instead of going out buying something else, look and see if you have some of that. You know, you try to get a neutral color, but so it hopefully won't show through. Don't try to gather it yet. It's going to gather a little bit. All right, so now what I'm going to do is go around just like this, and I'm going to go ahead and do both circles. Then I'm going to come back on camera as I come around both circles and show you how to pull it, and then how we're going to the next step. All right, so let me just do that. Think about my little and I will see you back shortly. All right, so off camera, I went ahead and I did like a running stitch around the outer perimeter, the outer edge of my mixed net circle. I did go ahead and just did both of them, just a nice running stitch. And then I'm going to start to pull them because we need to stuff them to make our pom-pom. Let's see, I have my needle on this one, so let me work with this one first. I'll leave that, put that one out of the way. Put this one here, check my camera, see if I'm on. Yep, I'm good. All right, over this way. Okay, I think that's where I should be. Okay. So now I do this sometimes. Since I don't really craft anymore, I don't have the polyfill and all of this. So let me show you another way to make sure that you have a nice stuffed pom-pom. Get some of your old scrap yarn and make yarn balls. I just whatever color, just whatever yarn I have, and I usually keep mine in balls anyway. When I get through, sometimes I'll just sit and make yarn balls. So you just wrap the yarn around, make a nice size that you think that might fit. See there? All I did was I just took some scrap yarn and made a ball. Then I'm going to put the ball inside of my little, and then I'm going to start drawing up the string or the thread. Just draw it up slowly and just kind of pulling it in or pushing it in, making sure your yarn ball will fit in there. Sometimes if it's a little too large, just pull some of the yarn out off the ball. You know, you just kind of try to figure out, and then just keep pulling and pulling as you push. And see, you don't have to try to move that polyfill around, like I said. And since I don't craft anymore, I wasn't going all the way back to the store. You know, I'm trying to stay out of the stores. Now, of course, there's a hole, and we have to fill that hole and put our I-cord in it. So here I go. Now, I did make a mistake on this one, which is fine. It's not going to be a problem. I said leave a long tail on this one. On the fur one, instead of a long tail, what we need is a big knot. So I'm just going to cut this tail off. We're not going to use this yarn to sew. We're using this thread because we need something really tight to pull it. So all you have to do is just cut the tails off. It's no big deal. So on the yarn, when we did the yarn ones, we needed a tail because that's the yarn we sewed with. This one, we're using this yarn because it's stronger, or thread. Now I take my I-cord and this little tip, and I just wrap it around and I form a knot. Just a big old knot on each end. Just like this. The I-cord is done the same, but instead of using the tail to sew on this one, I need something stronger. So I form a knot, and then I'm going to take this knot and stick it inside of this. Just push it down in there. And then I'm going to continue to pull, try to tighten up. Your knot might come out. That's okay. Just stick it back in there. Okay, now have your needle already on here ready to go. But you're going to continue to kind of pull. You're trying to close this circle as much as possible. Like I said, and this thread is quite strong, so that's good. You didn't have to go out and buy anything extra for that. Alright, now, in the same method that we sewed the other eye coat on, right? Well, this one don't want to stay, I guess because I'm on camera. I guess I was having too much fun. Alright, but just push it in there, push it over to the side, whatever you have to do to keep it in there. Now we're going to start to sew up the hole. The hole that's left. And the main thing is to be sure to go into the eye cord every time you make a pass of this needle to the opposite side to grab some of the material. And this is all by feel because you see all this fur, but you will be able to tell. So I'm going to just go to the other side. Oops, I got my thing caught in there. Alright, let's go. So now I'm just going to do that and pull it. Make sure that the knot doesn't come out. And then I just simply start to sew from this side. I go in. I go through the eye cord to the opposite side. So I just take the needle through. Now you can't go. Pull it through. Then pick up some fabric as much as I can get on this side. All of this is by feel because you can't really see with all the fur. You see how I'm pulling that? Now I want to go back through the other side, so I have to go through the eye cord and go to the other side. Make sure my needle is going into the fabric and not just into the fur. The fur won't hold anything. So I'm just going around. You can put your finger there and you can feel if there's a hole that you need to. Like, okay, I can feel that big hole there. So I'm going to take my needle and go, but pass it through the eye cord to get to the other side of where you need to go. It needs to go through the eye cord every time you make a pass. Put your finger there and feel and see if there's a hole as you work around, from going around and round. Just stick your finger there, stick your finger around and if you feel a hole or you see that you need to, just stick your needle there, but make sure you go through the eye cord. It is now sewn in, or we're sewing it in, and making sure that you pick up fabric, not just fur. And feel around with your finger and see if you feel a hole where you need to. Okay, I feel a hole right there, so I need to go there. Then I go through the eye cord to get to the other side. Then I can feel around on this side to see if there's a hole or if I need to do anything. And then once you get to where you feel like it's secure, and it's best to just do it several times. Then wrap the yarn around just like we did on the yarn. Pull it nice and snug. And that's where you can use that, what you wrapped around, to help bury the yarn so that you can cut it. So you're just going to work around this eye cord and you're just going to bury this yarn where you wrapped it real tight around the eye cord, and you just do it several times. Don't be afraid. And then I can take this off, pull it good and tight, cut it, and then and if you miss a spot, you can always go back. But now you have a pom-pom on this end of the I-cord, and then you will take this one and do the exact same thing. And it takes a little practice, and you'll get neater and neater because it's all done by feel, because you really can't see, you know, with the fur or the yarn. But there's the I-cord. There's I-cord hanging. It is secure. The knot's in there. You closed up any hole. Like saying, if you later on you fill a hole, just get it. But this this thread is very strong, and you don't have to worry about it breaking. Like I said, then you get another ball of yarn for this one. Try it at different. Now that seems like it needs a little more yarn on it, so I just take any color, anything I have, or I look over here and I go, okay, let's see, that one looks a little larger. See, I'm just grabbing. See, I already have them in balls. I keep my yarn, my scraps pretty much in balls when I can. Here's one right here. Let's see if this one's bigger. See, it's already balled up. I can try this one. See, now this one will probably work perfect. And when I draw up the string, you can kind of put it in there and draw it up and see if it's going to pull in really good and tight. And then you will work the same steps we just worked on this for this end. Does that make sense? And it uses up your scraps. It saves you some money because you're not buying all that polyfill that, you know, you just want to make. This is something you might just sit and want to make, or maybe you need a quick gift for somebody, you know, a young person or something. Quick way to use up scraps, and you can use up a bunch of ball of scrap yarn just making balls to stuff with. Well, what do you think of that? Let me bring back, let's see. Oh, one last thing for the crocheters. Okay, crocheters, real quick. Here's a fur ball or the pom-pom, regular pom-pom. I suggest you use a large hook, you know, like a L or M or something large. But anyway, this is number, this is number 6. This is number 6 yarn. And all you're going to do is make a chain. You could even hold this double if you wanted a big, you know, if you wanted your, when I did this, I just used one strand, but I'm sorry, I think I prefer, or maybe I'll try holding it double and then making a long chain, you know, same steps. Chain to go around your neck. I use the same idea. I put some yarn that was already in a ball in this. I tied a knot on each end, stuffed it in, and then just went around. Of course, you try to get a color that's going to kind of match, you know, get close to, like I use black thread on this one. Instead of the beige, I use black. See, so you can't even see it. But I put a big knot and then pushed it in with the ball of yarn and did the exact same steps, but only this time I did it with a chain. I did it with a crochet chain, and you can too. And there's fuzz everywhere now. So not only can you have your scrap yarn, pom-pom, scarf or tie, or you can have your faux mink, knit or crochet. Here's the crochet one. Like I said, I just did a chain. You know, and you probably can think of some other ones. Alright, so let me just move this out of the way and tell me, what did you think of that? What do you think of this? I think it's a lot of fun. They're really pretty. They make great little gifts for young people, you know, somebody young. But like I say, you saw me wearing mine. I wear mine. Look, I'm going to wear my faux mink with my sweaters. And it's a good way to just use up, you know, we're all, like I say, we're all still sheltered in. Good way to use up a lot of your stash. Well, I am certainly glad that you came to, just to come and sit with me and let me just share and have a little fun. And I'm so glad we're able to have a laugh or two, people. After what's been going on, we need a laugh or two. But no matter how bad it looks, I'm telling you, Don't get down, don't give up, don't give out, don't give in, don't give over, don't give under. Help is on the way. It is something that is promised. So we just need to be waiting when help comes. And living our lives. We're just going to keep on living our lives. This is 2021. I want to share even more with you. Like I said, I'm going to be 74 this year in June. So I've got to try to put out as much as I can. Who knows how long I'm going to have. So I want to get done. I want to put as much as I can up. And I am just thankful. So thankful for you being a part of Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. Thank you so much. So, nothing else to do but look, just keep on going for this year. I'm working on a new sweater. I will have it ready soon, and we'll just take our time and do it step by step as I always do. And I just want you to be a part of it, and tell someone and let them know that, we just enjoy your company. So this is Jay, and this is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam, of course. So until next time, until I get the sweater ready, take care, be safe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.